right. Welcome to Barrel Full of Daryl podcast. That's me, Daryl. And in this podcast, I selectively discuss music, movies, and also throw in a bit of mirth, or at least try. I want to thank you, my loyal listeners, for tuning in and downloading these shows. My heart expands. So, for each show, I select an artist or band that is personally significant to me. You may not be familiar with my selection, but I intend to introduce them to you. So I'm not a young man, so you can imagine that my experiences with music and movies is vast. No brag, just fact. So don't worry if you're not familiar with my picks. Just recline and soak it up. So here we go. Music section for today. Let's discuss Modest Mouse. They are an American rock band founded in 1993 by lead singer and guitarist Isaac Brock. Their music has been described as a volatile mix of punk-inspired rawness and simmering atmosphere. I describe it as awesome. It's very different from anything else out there. And they have 7 studio albums, 6 EPs, and 16 music videos. Now, on a side note, my son-in-law, Ian, met Isaac Brock at a Publix during the 2014 Shaky Knees Music Festival in Atlanta, Georgia, and even got to shake his hand. Rock on, Ian. So the band's name is from a line written by Virginia Woolf describing common people as modest mouse-colored people. So Isaac Brock happens to be well read. The album titles are very interesting as well. Their first release in 1996 is titled, "This is a Long Drive for Someone with Nothing to Think About." In 2004, they released Good News for People Who Love Bad News. And in 2007, We Were Dead Before the Ship Even Sank. So, I was unfamiliar with them for a long time until I asked a coworker what he was listening to. And he said, Good News for People Who Love Bad News by Modest Mouse. I asked if it was good, and he said, no, it's great. So I bought it, and I was introduced to another aspect of the wonderful world of music. And of course, I went on and bought all their other stuff as well. But for today, I want to discuss the album Good News for People Who Love Bad News. This is my go-to Modest Mouse album. It was nominated for a Grammy as Best Alt Music Album and certified double platinum. The 3 singles that were popular are Float On, Ocean Breathes Salty, and The World at Large, and these are indeed fine songs. But I find the gems in the remainder of the album with songs like Bukowski, The Devil's Workday, Blame It on the Tetons, and The Good Times Are Killing Me. Now, this album is a mix of beautiful ballads and raucous rockers. Isaac uses his voice in many different manners, from melodic to downright yelling. He also overdubs his voice in several songs. For example, in the song Bukowski, he sings the lyrics in his normal voice, but dubs in a basso track and a track with him yelling the lyrics in the background. I find it very unique and entertaining. So, by the way, who is this Bukowski, you might be asking? If you don't know, then you need to know, and I'm going to tell you because I'm obliged to do so. Charles Bukowski was a German-American poet, novelist, and short story writer born in Germany in 1920 and died in Los Angeles in 1994. So you've heard or seen the movie Pulp Fiction, right? This is the writing style for Bukowski. I may need to discuss that movie sometime soon as well. So his vast body of work addresses the not so ordinary lives of poor Americans. He addresses the act of writing, alcohol, women, and the drudgery of work. His writing is often lewd and sad, depressing, in fact, but he really tells it like it is, especially for the down and out people. Once he had a column in an LA Underground newspaper titled Notes of a Dirty Old Man, for which the FBI created a file on him. He's a very good writer, but remained under the publishing radar. He wrote thousands of poems, hundreds of short stories, and 6 novels. His works were published by small printing houses, which he preferred. Basically, he was a cult writer of pulp fiction, and in 1986, Time magazine called him the poet laureate of American lowlife. So if you are not prudish, I would recommend any of his work to you. Okay, back to good news for people who love bad news. In several songs, namely the horn intro and the Devil's Workday, the horns are played by the band called Dirty Dozen Brass Band out of New Orleans. Holy shit, these boys can blow on those horns. It's very cool. Honestly, I did not know about these guys, these horn players, until I started researching for this episode. Now, they have been active since 1977, and their body of work is extensive. They've released over 20 albums and collaborated with various artists such as Dr. John, B.B. King, the Black Crowes, Elvis Costello, Norah Jones, and DJ Logic, just to name a handful. In 2023, they won the Grammy Award for Best American Roots Performance. I've been listening to their album Medicated Magic, and it's very good, and I highly recommend it. So I've wandered around a little bit here, but to me it's been worth it, and I hope that it was for you as well. And now for a word from our sponsor. Howdy, y'all. This here's Johnny Ray Bubba coming at you again from my pawn shop in Scratch Ankle, Alabama. The other day, that Finch boy came back in and tried to swipe another candy bar. That was the final straw, so I drove over to talk to Mr. Finch to put an end to it. I parked my car on the dirt road and walked up to the porch. Mr. Finch was laying face down on the porch, passed out, and reeking of urine with a shotgun next to him. The front door was wide open, so I peeked in, and there was his 3 boys sitting in front of a snowy TV screen, filthy and forlorn, with no mama in sight. So I left and drove to the Piggly Wiggly and got some sandwich fixins, candy bars, and Coca-Colas. When I got back to the house, Mr. Finch was gone, and the boys were sitting out on the porch. I handed them the victuals, and the oldest boy smiled and said, "Thank you, Mr. Bubba. I won't try to steal from you anymore. God bless him." Now y'all come on down to see me at my pawn shop. Hell, you know where I'm at. And we're back. Let's talk about a movie. How about The Matrix? Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Sorry, I just have to say that. So if you want to tune out and go watch it, then go right ahead, please. Now, I'm guessing that the majority of you, my listeners, have seen the movie The Matrix. I recall seeing a TV ad for it before it was released that posed the question, what is the Matrix? During this ad, I was like, holy shit, what the hell is this? Now, I confess that there are some movies that upon first viewing, I'm a bit lost, and The Matrix is one of those movies. But the second time I watched it, I was like, holy shit, now I get it. And I was blown away. At the time, 1999, the film was written and directed by the Wachowski brothers, who have since become the Wachowski sisters, or just the Wachowskis. It's a dystopian science fiction film set in the year 2199. There had been a war between the humans and the machines, basically AI creations, and the machines won the war. As a result, the machines built farms to artificially grow humans and pods in order to harness their bioelectric energy, basically making human batteries. These humans are apparently drugged and exposed to a world known as the Matrix, which is a simulated reality designed to keep them oblivious to being a human battery. Now, the remaining free humans established an underground refuge called Zion, but their existence is harsh with scarce resources. The antagonists are very powerful sentient programs called agents, used to protect the Matrix from the free humans who seek to destroy it. And it happens that if you are killed by an agent in the Matrix, you also die in the real world. The protagonist is Neo, played by Keanu Reeves, who is freed from the Matrix by Morpheus when he takes a red pill. And Morpheus is played by Lawrence Fishburne. Fishburne. I think it's Fishburne. And he is the leader of the free humans. The lovely Trinity is played by Carrie-Anne Moss, and she's a cohort of Morpheus, and she believes that Neo is the one. The only, by one, it's the figure prophesied to dismantle the Matrix and to liberate humanity. The name Neo anagrams into one, the one. And it turns out he is indeed the one. So I'm not going to give this film any injustice by digging further into the plot or the events in this film. I just couldn't do it justice. The bottom line is that Neo ends up communicating with the system and promises to show the enslaved humans a world of limitless possibilities. Well, this film was a huge success, grossing $460 million on a $63 million budget, and it won Academy Awards in 4 categories. It spawned 2 sequels released in 2003, The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions. Comic books and video games also ensued, followed by its 4th sequel, Matrix Resurrections, in 2021. Now, the movie's plot is highly original, but the cool and stunning visual effects give the story real life, especially the effect called bullet time. In this effect, the character's heightened perception is represented by the main shot proceeding in slow motion while the camera moves in real time. In this manner, the humans are able to dodge bullets fired by the agents and can even stop them in flight, in which then they fall to the ground. So this special effect became highly popular. It's been used in numerous films. I think it was even in one of the Shrek films. So hats off to the Wachowskis. Thank you for giving this gem of a film. Now we will proceed with the word of the day. The word is recto, recto, recto. Are you aware of this word? Now, in publishing, it means the right-hand page of a book or manuscript. The opposite, or the left-hand page, is called the verso. So now you know recto and verso, right and left. Joke of the day. What do you call a man with no arms or legs hanging on a wall? Art. What do you call a man with no arms and legs lying on the floor? Mat. What do you call a man with no arms and legs in a swimming pool? Bob. What about a man with no arms and legs laying in a pile of leaves? Russell. And now the question of the day. Let's first address the answer to the question from last time. Can you define the word heat? What is heat exactly? No, I'm not referring to the popo. In physics, heat is the transfer of thermal energy from one body to another. Of course, these two bodies must have a temperature difference for that to happen. As an example, once when I was a teenager, my dad had a pot of boiling water on the stove. He lifted it up off the burner and told me to quickly tap the bottom of the pot. Well, stupid me, I went ahead and did it. But when I did it, it was not hot to the touch. Now, if I had held my finger a little longer, if I had let my finger linger, then the transfer of thermal energy would have burnt the shit out of it. So that's heat, the transfer of thermal energy from one object to another. So today's question is, how does dew form on the morning grass? You know, when you walk through the morning grass and your feet get wet from the dew that's there, well, how does that happen? We'll discuss that next time. Please do me a favor on this episode. Click on the Send Me a Text button and let me know if you're listening to the playlist, and if so, are you enjoying it? I appreciate that. So, if you haven't done so, check out the Barrel Full of Darrell's Spotify and Apple Music playlists that accompany this podcast. I always drop songs on there by the artists I discuss, and I do hope that you listen and enjoy it. You can contact me by clicking on that same button, send me a text button, or you can contact me directly at my email, bfodpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I will talk to you next time. Bye for now.